All right, I'd like to bring the Town of Wappinger Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Please, got roll call, please, B.
Mr. Delacorte?
Here.
Mr. Lorenzini?
Here.
Mr. Shaw?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Bellotti?
Here. All right, first order of business tonight, acceptance of the minutes from April 11th, 2023. Everybody had a chance to review? All good?
Yes.
No
Yes.
comments?
No.
All right, can I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes as written?
I make a motion to accept.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, next order of business tonight is adjourned public hearing, appeal number 237783, area variance, Michael Sims, seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R20 zoning district where 35 feet to the front yard property line is required. The applicant can provide 28 feet for a 19 by 20-foot bedroom addition with exterior stairs on .51 acres, thus requesting a variance of 9 feet. Where 20 feet is required to the side yard property line, the applicant can provide 5 feet for an existing shed, thus requesting a variance of 15 feet. Where 40 feet is required to the rear property line, the applicant can provide 11 feet for an existing shed, thus requesting a variance of 29 feet. The property is located at 30 Kent Road and is identified as tax grid number 625803-310026 in the town of Wappinger. Have a motion, please, to open the adjourned public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the adjourned public hearing.
Second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Sims? All right. You're getting to be a permanent fixture around here. All right, for the board, and again, anybody else who might be listening in, just a brief description of what you need and why you need it.
So I'm looking to add an addition to the existing structure of my house, where I need a variance over the lines, and then for the existing shed. It's on?
We don't have our audio person tonight.
No, it's, how's that better?
We're lacking audio skills.
Yeah. So I am looking for variances on both of those, and that's what I'm here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, Pete, I just wanted to say that when you read I believe you said 23 feet was required, it's 26. 26.
Which one, Tom?
Where 35 feet to the front yard property line is required, the applicant can provide 26 feet.
Oh, I see what you're saying, right, for
Yeah.
the first one?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I said 23?
Yeah, just to make sure that.
Gotcha, sure. Got it, thanks.
You are.
All righty, so we kind of all know what's going on here, right, gang? Let me see, let me take a look at your plan for some reason out there.
That's all I got.
Seems like some corrections in there.
Yeah, one of the questions I had, Barb, was the shed variances, says the applicant can provide 5 feet, let's say, for example, the first line for the shed. But when you look at those drawings are not accurate for because it says 12.4 feet, unless I'm reading it wrong.
No, the shed's bigger than the shed shown on this.
So it's inaccurate on the drawing,
This is an
right?
older
Okay.
shed,
Yes.
and that was found out at another meeting, that at some point in time after the survey was produced, a bigger shed went in.
Right,
So this is based on Michael's measurements.
okay. So it's just, why I wanted to make note that the
Right,
drawings
so
are not
what Mr. Sims is asking for is correct,
accurate. Okay.
and the survey, of course.
Survey need to be updated or marked for record.
So the dimensions that were published are correct.
Yes.
Okay. You guys have any other questions? You know, the dimensions that were published are correct, that was incorrect.
And then the decking on the side, that's not going to be there, or it is? I call it the side, I meant the
For
front.
door, yeah, so that's where the variance changed since the last time I was here. I think I'm asking for 9 feet. It was
Yeah.
9 feet.
Yep.
So I'm going towards the backyard. The house is existing, so it's just going straight back and then adding the deck for the stairs.
Got it, and that's what we kind of discussed last meeting. Okay. Any other questions you got?
How old the shed is?
I'm sorry?
How old shed?
I'm sorry, can
How
you?
was the shed?
How old is it? I don't know.
So before you move.
Yeah, it was there.
So
but-
the shed can't be that old because this survey is from 2014,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's less than 10 years old.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions, you guys?
And the shed is essentially unmovable. It would be destroyed if you try to move it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it probably would collapse.
yeah, I mean, I'll tear it down before I move it.
So I think that if we grant that one, we don't want to make it a new one with 5 feet. So we want to put that condition.
Right.
I think we've conditioned that before, right? We're only approving the shed as is. If it's rebuilt, you'd have to follow the zoning.
Right.
So to do that also, we don't know the
Yeah, well,
shed dimension. What size is shed?
We'll get that, we'll get through that. We'll do that, we'll stipulate that
Sure,
as
you
we
can
go.
make that condition.
Yeah,
Good
we'll make
idea.
a condition.
So it would be a condition that if we approve it, we'd approve the shed as it currently exists, but if you were to rebuild it or if it were to fall down,
Then
you would have to either get a new variance or you'd shift it in.
It would have to, if the existing shed were to be removed for any reason.
Right.
And a new shed were to be built.
Okay.
It would have to conform to the zoning laws at that time.
Okay, or for variance or get another variance for it?
Exactly.
So
Okay, because I just,
let me just explain something. So a variance, once it's granted without condition, it runs with the land.
okay,
So you're getting a variance for your house addition, so that, God forbid it ever burns down, a tree falls on it, you're entitled to rebuild it in the same footprint.
okay,
So the same thing goes for an accessory structure like a shed or a pool.
okay,
The variance normally would run with the land, but I think what's happening is because of the size of the variances, which are quite substantial, what they're saying is that possibly they might be willing to let you keep this one, but the condition would be, in 5 years, a tree falls on it, you wouldn't be able to build the same size in the same spot without another
without another
variance.
variance, okay.
Does that make
I
sense?
understand, yeah, 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 absolutely.
I only have one question, Mr. Sims. Do you know when your house was originally built?
That's a good question, because I had this issue when I first bought the house. It was listed at it was 60-ish, 63, but then I saw in the town's records, I believe it was in the 50s. So, and I also found out that it was a lot smaller when it started, the house, so there's a few additions onto it.
So you think the house has been added onto before, is that?
I believe so. If you go into the crawl space attic, you can kind of see where everything is tied in and everything, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any more?
You asked that 4
Motion to
times.
close public hearing?
Well, wait, anybody in the audience here to speak on behalf or any other reason on this variance or application? No? All right, can I have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Make motion to close it.
Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? All right, so moved. Can I have a motion, please, to grant or deny the applicant the variances? Now, Barbara, we should list these separately.
So you can vote for the first variance and take a roll call, and then the next two, since they're for the same subject, you can read them both and then vote once on that.
Gotcha. All right, then. Can I have a motion, please, to grant or deny the applicant the variance?
I'll make a motion to grant the first variance, which is the addition It aligns with the house. The only real difference from what's there is the side porch, which I think is minor. The benefit can be achieved by no other means. There is no undesirable change. It is not a substantial request. There's no adverse physical or environmental effects, and it is self-created.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
All right, roll call, please, B, for variance number 1. Go ahead.
Yeah, variance number 1, I say yes. Granted.
Mr. Lorenzini.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes. Okay, next one. Can I have a motion, please, to deny or grant the applicant the next variance? Both variances, rather. I'll make a motion to grant the applicant now the other variances, but we are going to condition, right, that if the shed were ever to be replaced at any future date for whatever reason, that the shed would have to meet the zoning requirements at that time, or you would need another variance.
Understood.
So then I make a motion then to grant the applicant I'm going to read them. Where 20 feet is required to the side yard property line, the applicant will provide 5 feet for an existing shed, thus requesting a 15-foot variance. That is a yes with the stipulation. Where 40 feet is required to the rear property line, the applicant will provide 11 feet for an existing shed, thus requesting a variance of 29 feet. Again, I vote positive for that as well. Both those variances, the benefit cannot be achieved by any other feasible means, does not create any undesirable change to the neighborhood. The requests are substantial, however, not enough for me to vote no. There is no adverse effects on the environment, and the alleged difficulty is self-created. So I am voting yes on that variance. Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Roll call, please, B.
Okay.
Mr. Delacorte.
Yes.
Mr. Lorenzini.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes. Okay, so your variances have been granted with stipulation.
Thank you.
Okay, you're all set.
So just for the audience sake, for anybody, yourself who has a public hearing, if your variance is granted, tomorrow we'll start working on them in the office, and you'll hear from the building department as soon as the permits are ready.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, on the agenda is public hearing, appeal number 237787, area variance. Christopher and Yasmin Slaughter seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R20 zoning district, where no more than 2 accessory structures are permitted on a residential lot. The applicant has a total of 4 accessory structures, thus requesting a variance to allow the gazebo, shed, artist studio, and garage to remain. The playhouse will be removed. The property is located at 180 Woodmere Road on 59.3 acres and is identified as tax grid number 625801325, 728 in the town of Wappinger. I understand we are going to adjourn this public hearing to the next meeting. All right, so I have a motion, please, to adjourn this
Just
public
to see
hearing.
if there's anyone
Do we
in
need
the
to open it?
audience. See if there's anyone in the
Oh,
audience.
excuse me, is there anybody here to speak on our behalf of this application? Okay,
Do we need to open?
nobody?
We have to open it first?
Oh, okay. I have a motion, please, to open the public
I
hearing.
make a motion to open the public hearing?
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, now, is there anybody in the audience here to speak on behalf of this application? There is not, then can I have a motion, please, to adjourn the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
There will be at the next meeting, which would
May
be...
9th?
Which would be
May
May
9th.
9th. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second motion?
I second it.
Are you all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, next on the agenda. Appeal number 2377, area variance. Elizabeth and Thomas Ranisi. Seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R40/80 zoning district, where no accessory structure can be over 1,200 square feet on 5 acres or more. The applicant is proposing a 1,538 square foot, 32 by 48 garage, thus requesting a variance of 338 square feet, where no more than 2 accessory structures are permitted on one lot, building lot. The applicant currently has 2 structures, thus requesting a variance to allow the structures to remain. The property is located at 785 Wheeler Hill Road on 24.60 acres and is identified as tax grid number 6057-04698179 in the town of Wappinger. Can I have a motion, please, to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, so moved.
Aye.
Okay, for the board's benefit, and anybody who might be listening in, a quick summary of what you need and why you need it.
Sure. Tom and Elizabeth Chinese, 785 Wheeler Hill Road. We're looking to build a barn structure of that size so that it can house our tractor and implements and associated land tools, and a workshop where we would fix those things and work on things related to the property. We need it because the existing garage, which does have garage doors on it, the height of the doors isn't adequate to park the tractor inside without taking down the safety roll bar. So we really need something that will accommodate the tractor as is for safety purposes, and also to get it off the lawn. And to store everything
Store it
else
on the roof, right?
associated with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, okay, so we were all there Saturday, and took a look and see what you got going on in the property, and,
Yeah.
and what's, you know, I know we did have a question, but I think we solved the issue of the structure count, right? We were thinking of what comprised the structure count, because you had the shed, the garage, and the pole barn.
The pole barn is what's being
Is the
proposed.
new,
Right, yeah.
The proposed.
I thought we were talking about the gazebo.
Right, but the gazebo wasn't included in the count. Right, Barbara? I mean, we had.
It was a gazebo without a roof.
Without
so
a roof.
we
It's
weren't-
just the boards.
Yeah.
And so unless it has a solid roof of some structure, then we don't have to worry about a snow load, so we don't
Right.
count that.
Gotcha, okay. That was it. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of property.
Thank you.
I mean, you're pretty far, set back. I don't have any other questions. You guys?
I had a question, Pete.
Sure.
I apologize, I missed this when we were out there. It says also a half a bath? Do we need to read that into, because it says that in the
It
plan,
is,
with the half
yes,
a
yes,
bath?
it's in there, in this.
Should we have that in the
No.
plan? No, okay.
No, anything interior of a home or whatever structure is not
Building.
for a
Doesn't
bath.
need to be included. Okay,
Right,
thank you.
sure. Guys, anybody?
No?
All right, anybody in the
Nothing nice.
audience? Step right up, please. State your name for the record and address.
Sal Biddy, 38 Old State Road. Property joins theirs. I just didn't get a site plan. I didn't know if it was going up against the property or where the shed was going. But it's at your house. I know your house is set way that way. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Good.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
email we got.
We also did,
The email we got.
Yeah, we also did get an email from a neighbor. Just want to recognize that we did receive it. It was from Margot Kingon, it looks like, 36 Old State Road. She's in favor of the application as well. She has no issues.
Thank you.
You guys, all set?
I'm all set.
All right, have a motion, please, to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close. the public-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, could I have a motion, please, to grant or deny the applicant the variance?
I'll make a motion to grant the variance. It will not produce an undesirable change in the neighborhood. There will be no substantial detriment to nearby properties. There is not any feasible means available for you to pursue the benefit other than the requested variance. The requested variance is 25%, I think we said, which substantial. But it will not have an adverse effect on, or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. And the property, or the alleged difficulty is self-created, but it's not enough to deny the variance on a property of that size. So I'll make a motion that we grant the variance.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, B.
Mr. Delaporte,
Aye. Yes.
Mr. Lawrence Zane,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I just would like to add too, I vote yes too, in the affirmative, but the size of your property and the way you have your structure set up and they're so far off the road played a big role in our decision. So, but you're good to go.
Great.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next on the agenda, appeal number 237789, area variance. Nicholas Sina seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R10 zoning district, where only a 4-foot-high fence is allowed in a front yard. The applicant would like to erect a 6-foot-high fence for privacy, thus requesting a variance to allow a 6-foot fence along the front yard of Old Hopewell Road. The property is located at 1 Cayuga Drive on .23 acres and is identified as tax grid number 6157025435551 in the town of Wappinger. Can I have a motion, please, to open the public hearing?
I make a motion to open public
Have a
hearing.
second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so, for anybody who's listening in the board, just state your name and address, and just a quick description of what you need, why you need it.
Nicholas Senna, 1 Cayuga Drive in Wappingers Falls. I'm applying for a variance to build a 6-foot fence where only a 4-foot fence is required because I'm on a corner lot, so I have 2 front yards. And it's for privacy because I have Sergeant Palmetier Way facing the north side of my house where my bedroom is, so it's headlights and traffic and all that, so we want to create a buffer for all that.
Yeah, and we came out to see the property on Saturday. We see, exactly what you got going on there, plus the fact you have 2 front yards. And we could see where that, traffic and headlights could pose a problem for you, coming into your home. Pretty straightforward, I think, guys, as far as I'm concerned. Have you guys had any questions?
I had just a comment. I just wanted to add that Sergeant Palmetier Drive is newly constructed.
Right.
Correct.
So it didn't previously,
The road is only about 5 years old, so
Right.
previously he would not have had that type of light intrusion into his home
and Barbara, when was that law changed from
last year.
last year? Thank
And the premise behind changing the law was because most people on corners or in front yards has caused sight distance issues for the homeowner or visitors coming out, as well as people seeing on corners.
Makes sense.
It makes sense.
The only comment I have is, I think the location you're showing the fence being put up in is a good location. But I would be concerned, right now you have an evergreen kind of hedge, between where you're proposing a fence and the actual, corner. If those evergreens ever came down, I don't think it would be great for the fence to continue, all the way to, where the turn is, just because I think it would be difficult to see around the corner.
I guess I would have to go through the process again if I extend the fence, huh?
Well, that would be my question, is if we should condition.
So how far to Cayuga are you planning on coming down?
Right now, I'm only doing the fence half of the property, so it's in the midway, like almost in line with Sergeant Palmetier. I have
Right.
a wall of evergreens going down to the stop sign on the corner. I know I can't go too far to the corner, but I'm not planning on to, but those bushes can,
Right, so you know that's your property line, because Old
Yeah.
Hopewell is a turnpike.
yes.
So, and on corners, you have to cut on an angle, so the fence can't, I know where you have the post, so it
Yeah.
can't get much closer down toward
I
Cayuga.
guess if I ever had to extend the fence, I'll have to consult with you guys first, for sure.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the existing laws would govern that, so it's not a
Yes.
concern, right?
Yeah, that would be under, he can't go further on a corner because of the sight distance and where his survey would show it.
Mhm.
So if I ever extend it, I'll consult with you before I do anything,
Yes,
obviously. I
thank
won't
you.
just start building and extending my
It's always
fence.
good to check first.
Yes, I've learned that,
Dig once.
yeah.
I mean, now, the abrevieties that he has there, I'm gonna say a good 20, 30 feet off the corner, and that's where his fence starts and then goes back. Okay. Got it. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments regarding this application? No? Okay, can I have a motion, please, to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close public hearing?
Have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Can I have a motion, please, to grant or deny the applicant the variance?
I make motion to grant the variance. Okay. The requested variance is not significant, 4 feet to 6 feet is not significant. This difficulty, I don't think is self-created. It is because of town what they had modified the road, so it's not, don't think it's self-created. Granting this variation will not create any substantial determinants in the nearby property. It's still far away from the main road and the side road. And there is no other physical method where you can get same goal you can achieve. So you're putting fence, that's the only way you could do that one. And the variance is not going to cause any adverse effect, environmental or physical. So I would say granted application, the permission to.
Second.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please, B.
Yes.
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 Yes, so your variance has been granted.
Thank you, Scott.
Free to
So,
go.
Mr. Sender, you're our unicorn. Because a fence in the town of Wappinger, a fence permit is technically not necessary, and you opened one just so that we could deny it so you could come here. You do not have to wait for a permit to be issued. You can put your fence up.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Boy, double bonus tonight, huh?
Yeah, today's my lucky day.
Go play a lottery.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
All right, next up on the agenda is discussion. Appeal number 237788, area variance. Brian and Kathy Holly seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R20 zoning district, where 20 feet to the side yard property line is required. The applicant can provide 8.6 feet for the legalization of a 3-season room, thus requesting a variance of 11.4 feet. Where 20 feet to the side yard property line is required, the applicant can provide 8.6 feet for the legalization of a covered screen deck. Where 20 feet to the side yard property line is required, the applicant can provide 9.4 feet for the legalization of an open deck, thus requesting a variance of 10.6 feet. The property is located at 16 Applesauce Lane on .35 acres and is identified as tax grid number 625804701-001 in the town of Wappinger. All right, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
For the record, your name and address, please.
I'm Kathy Holly, and my address is 16 Applesauce Lane in Wappingers Falls. And we're requesting an area variance so we can legalize our existing 3-season room, enclosed deck, and pool deck.
Now, Barbara, we did go there on Saturday, visit, we happened to be in the neighborhood, yeah. So we stopped by and took a look there, that we still need to schedule a public hearing and
Yes.
and come back.
And I understand they're going to move the shed where it would not require another variance.
Correct, that's correct, right. Right, so we were out there on Saturday, obviously, you showed us everything you got going on. And again, you know, pretty straightforward, you know, we talked about the shed, and you told us you're gonna relocate that, or you don't need a variance for that. So as far as the variances that the applicant's looking for, I don't have any additional questions unless you guys, if you have any other
No, I think we
questions.
got a very good view.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we had a
Extended.
good site visit. You folks provided us with a lot of information. Thank you for that. However, we do need to schedule a public hearing, and we'll schedule a public hearing B for the May 9th meeting. Right? We don't have to schedule a site visit because we did that already.
yes.
So we'll put you on the agenda for a public hearing on May 9th.
Okay, I'll be here.
And then you'll be all set. And he has a sign for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda, discussion. Appeal number 237791, area variance. Caesar Barzalo seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulations in an R20 zoning district, where fences in front yards can have a maximum height of 4 feet. The applicant is requesting a height of 6 feet along 2 streets, thus requesting a variance to allow a 6-foot fence along Roberts Road and Spook Hill Road. The property is located at 15 Spook Hill Road on 1.03 acres and is identified as tax grid number 625701003924 in the town of Wappinger. Hello. So, for the record, your name and address.
Yep, my name is Edwin Rodriguez. I'm representing Cesar Barzalo in 15 Spook Hill.
Yeah, we've seen you before.
Yep.
Are you installing a fence?
Me personally, no, but yes, we would like to.
So, again, a brief description of what you need, why you need it. Pretty straightforward, I think.
Yep, it's twofold. So one, we started already putting a 6-foot fence on the front. Those are the photos that you guys have there. That's in the front right side of the driveway, if that makes sense. We want to continue that type of fence along the Spook Hill side until a certain point. And then on Roberts Road on the other side, we also want to put a 6-foot fence there. That's also going to be majority of that road, but not all. Yeah.
So I need to explain to the board, I met with Edwin, they put a berm up. That is not part of their grading permit, and I'm expecting new plans because this berm is partly on the town right-of-way. You then put the fence up on the berm. So it's like a double thing. The fence is not supposed to be higher than 4 feet from the grade. You've already increased the grade, so the fence might be 9 feet high. So keeping that in mind, that's not with the spirit, and with the fact that this fence has to come down so that berm gets taken back, I think that it's kind of hard to look at this, and the fence is maybe, what, 8, 9 feet high right now?
I don't know the exact
If
measurement.
this is your berm, and you put the fence starting here, and that's the ground, so the variance is kind of not correct, because it's not a it is a 6-foot high fence, but the height of the fence is not with the spirit. So I think until you get new plans, this might have to be adjourned. We need to know where the fence is, or you have to amend this to ask for whatever it is, an 8 or 9 foot high
And
fence.
then we're kind of guessing, right, on what it really is. Now, the measurement, or the 6-foot measurement is measured from existing grade,
Correct,
right, not the top of the berm.
right, and the berm is in addition to, without a grading permit, so this was put in
So is
without a permit at
Gotcha.
this point.
So that was that, so has the applicant been advised to remove the berm?
Yes, well, I said you're gonna have to remove a lot of it that's on the town, but you've continued to plant flowers and everything, so it's, and the wall that he has is in the town right away.
Oh.
They do beautiful work, and he has little towers, which are fine, but then the rock wall that came down toward the road has to be removed. That can't stay in our right of way, and then the planter. The only thing in our right of way is the mailbox, and maybe a bush or two.
Are you talking about this wall, Barbara?
Yes. So your engineer has to show me where your property line is and how much of that wall is in the town right away, and that much of it will have to be removed. And I just want this board to know, you're going to do a site visit, so I would do that, but then you can see how high this fence actually is.
Is the property we did a front porch for, right?
That's the same property?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Barbara, I have a question. When we talked about in the previous application about why the 4 foot came about versus the 6
Right.
foot, how would we know, like, we're gonna say, for example, if we We have another case coming up, 6 foot.
Right.
The site distance, I mean, are we looking at the site, I guess you called it site distance?
Right.
Is that something that we should be concerned about?
Well, when you go out, like you look for anything, you have to take in how that affects the neighborhood, how does that look? And there are times when you've had other fences that wanted to be 12 feet high, and you know who I'm talking about, and you reduced it. So what benefit is that to the homeowner, and what detraction would it be
Safety.
if somebody was pulling in or out of there?
Safety-wise.
So, and that's, you're gonna base your opinions on what you see when you go out.
Yeah, that
Are
would
you
be-
also building up the back on Robert to, with a berm, to put the fence on the top as well?
Where on Robert?
Like wherever, because I know you're on 2 streets there.
No, there's
You're
nothing
not-
over there.
You're
No,
not
that's an
planting a
existing.
fence over there.
No. On the other side, we do want to put, that's why I put it on the app, we do want to put a fence on some part of that.
Right, but on ground level,
Yeah,
or are you going to build it up like this?
No, on the ground. There's already, and it's on the survey, but there's already an existing wall there. Behind that wall, pretty much is where.
Right, so it can't be on the wall.
No, I mean, the wall is there, we're not
I
gonna.
know, but we just need to be clear that when you put a wall and then put a fence on it, it's no longer a 6-foot fence.
Right.
The 6 foot plus whatever the wall is, like this berm. This berm has now made this fence, maybe not all the way down, but right here where your driveway is, this is pretty tall.
So just to clarify, like, I don't know if you can see it on the photo, maybe it'll probably be easier when you guys are there, but, the berm that you're referring to, that's not, like, the fence is not on top of the berm. Like that, this fence is separate, it's a separate entity on the side. And then the berm, that's on the driveway going out of the road.
Right, but I've seen pictures from the side. So that's what
So-
this board will make their own decision when they go out. But I need to give them a little history so they know what they're looking at as well.
Sure.
Could you draw on this plan where the fence is going, just so?
So, right here, this is already the fence that we put up, essentially.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do like this.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then he wants to continue pretty much around here, but it's not going to be, all closed fencing, because here's already closed fencing, here where the porch, addition was, or that porch was accepted, like here's gonna be an open fence, the, metal bars.
Okay.
So you can see, obviously, the house.
Still will be 6 feet though.
I believe so. I mean, if it's 4, then.
And then you guys are continuing around the corner?
Not
or-
gonna be, this corner here is not, I don't think he's gonna put a fence up to here. We're probably gonna, right now we have, evergreens, arborvitae here.
Mhm.
Those are gonna be moved to this side, pretty much, because it's all here's the
What are you
landscape.
planning back here?
So, and then here, this is where I was talking about, I'm supposed to start where, but pretty much somewhere around here until there.
So I understand why he wants this, but like, why is he putting this one up? Like,
So-
what's he doing here that you think?
The- Well, here's the garage. I think.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like you need as much privacy. You know, here I get it, you know, you have the house.
Well, the neighbor's fence is right here too, like you'll see his is there, and he has a 6-foot fence as well. So that's why we were like, oh, why don't we continue that, but we didn't want to do the vinyl fencing.
And the garage you're not using for habitable space?
No, you can still see, the garage is here, I mean, that's why this is visible.
Yeah, because it seems like, yeah, the garage you can really still see, right?
Yeah, here's the fence.
So that's your
done.
fence?
Yeah, like this is mine.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all,
That looks longer than this, no? Or is it just?
that's just the, I guess, drawing, like that's the driveway here, and our point is over here. You'll see it.
So the fence will go here, it's here, and it will go along here,
Yeah,
and then
essentially-
stop here.
Yeah, it'll stop somewhere around here. I mean, we'll mark it for you when you guys
Yeah.
come out,
Okay.
and be more specific there, but essentially, it's gonna be somewhere around this
And
dot,
then continue down here along Roberts Road.
over here, this way. It's not gonna be blocking any vision, like here's where, I guess, the corner is. That's why we're putting our arborvitae more inward.
Okay, so you're gonna mark where it stops and start, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the type of fence is gonna change in front of the house as well, right?
I'm pushing for that, just so we can actually see the house.
It would be good to see a photo of what is being proposed, or a spec, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so
I
we're.
had a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Arborvitae blocks the view also, right? I mean,
Right.
so. Yeah,
We don't control landscaping, so,
I'm sorry, Bob.
we don't control landscaping, so he's entitled to that.
Okay.
But remember, there's still a question with that berm,
Yeah.
may have to be removed, so, and moved back.
Right. So I think procedurally, right, we'll schedule a site visit for, gonna be like
May 6th.
the 6th. Right, so we're gonna do a site visit on the 6th. We'll be there around 9 o'clock in the morning. You'll mark out where the fence is starting and stopping, so we have a good idea. Now, as far as a public hearing goes, we really can't schedule that, right?
I would wait, how long will your plans take to come in?
Brian, hopefully, I don't know if this week or latest next week, at least for the driveway stuff, so.
So I would recommend us waiting and having Edwin come back on May 9th with the new plans, and then we can speak to it, because this could all be for naught. If the berm comes down, the fence will have to be taken down and then refigured where it's gonna go.
Right. So for as far as May 9th is concerned, should we schedule a public hearing, and we can always adjourn
Well, you're
it?
scheduling I don't think so, because you're gonna schedule
Just
it,
put it out
and
for
things could
discussion.
change. I would rather get his plans from his engineer,
Gotcha.
come back, you'll have done your site visit, so you'll know, and then we can look at the grading plan and see if at all, it has to be changed. It's very possible the berm is all on his property.
Okay.
It doesn't appear to be, but until we see
Yeah,
this
right,
on the
sure.
survey.
All right, so then we'll continue the discussion on May 9th, then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna continue the discussion on May 9th, and then at that point, we'll decide when we can do a public hearing. All right?
Cool.
All right, so we'll see you on the 6th on the site visit, maybe not you.
You'll see me.
Right.
I'll be there.
And then, we'll do the discussion, continue discussion on the 9th. Okay?
Sounds good.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Next up on the agenda, appeal number 237792, area variance, Brian A. Waguzzi,
They're not
seeking an
here.
area variance section.
He's not here.
We're not here? All right, so then we'll forego that,
We'll move on.
okay? So we'll jump to the next, last but not least item on the agenda, appeal number 237793, area variance, Michelle Marie Heineman, seeking an area variance sections 24037 and 24021F1 of district regulations in an R40 zoning district, where only 2 accessory structures are permitted on a parcel. The applicant has 6 accessory structures, thus requesting a variance to allow for the 3 sheds, 1 garage, gazebo, 3 apartment structure to remain. Where a fence can only be 4 feet in height in the front yard, the applicant is requesting to erect a 6-foot fence, thus requesting a variance to allow a 6-foot fence in the front yard. The property is located at 1109 through 1111 Route 376 on a total of 25.2 acres and is identified as tax grid numbers 635801, 205670, 21.4 acres, and 635801, 219740, 3.8 acres in the town of Wappingers. That's a mouthful. For the record, your name and address, please.
Sarah Ryan, Vandewater and Vandewater, on behalf of the applicant, Michelle Marie Heineman, who lives at 1111 Route 376.
Gotcha. So can you please describe for the board exactly what you need and why you need it?
Okay, first I'll describe the fence variance, because
Yeah.
I think that's the easier one
Sure.
to go through tonight. So Mrs. Heineman has 2 front yards. She is abutting Dogwood Hill Road cul-de-sac, and she's also along a lengthy sect of Route 376. So she is seeking a 6-foot fence where there's already a partial one existing. She would like to extend it around to encompass the entire property.
Is this the property that we did a fence variance on
I
before?
think the fence variance was for a 10-foot high fence in the very front,
Okay.
that ornate fence
Okay.
by the gate.
Gotcha.
Yes, this would be to extend it at 6 feet
Mhm.
around the entire property. So really, she only needs the variance for the Route 376 frontage and the Dogwood Hill frontage. But we figured we'd
Got it.
come and get permission.
Is it, you said it was an ornate, if I recall, it was an ornate.
It's ornate, artistic, like bronze or some sort of metal.
It's
that
not
she
like
had.
the last one that we just looked at.
No, this
Right.
was, she had an artist make these
Yeah.
ironwork.
Yeah.
So-
And the
So
new
I-
fence is going to be
This
that?
fence will not match that previously very ornate
It will.
metal one, it will not.
It will not.
It's gonna be more of the, like, the white, I forget what it's called, but
PVC.
it's a privacy fence, essentially. So Mrs. Heideman has dealt with, because this area is largely wooded, she has said that she has experienced people kind of hiking through there, coming and taking a look at the house. So she is seeking to kind of get some privacy, as well as screen this property, which has become very rundown.
Very, very rundown.
Rundown, yes, it's, things in the yard.
Do you have a spec on the actual fence that's being put in?
I believe I do.
While Sarah's looking for that, Mrs. Heineman asked me a question recently. In the front, she has an electric fence. So I'll make the assumption she's going to do the same thing on Dogwood, but regardless whether it's electric or not, she's gonna want the gate itself to be 6 foot high as well.
Correct.
To match. So I just want you to be aware it would be a continuous,
You say
fence.
electric fence, Barbara, you mean like if you touch
like that it
you-
opens, like she can, on her phone or something,
So
open it as
she
she
has a gate on the
approaches.
back also?
Right,
Excuse me?
yeah, so she
She has
has
a gate on the back?
entrance
Okay,
from Dogwood Hill Road and Route 376.
okay.
The property is so large that after having discussions with her in my office and in emails, a lot of those people there feel that they can just walk their dogs and move around back there. And there's an easement right here. It's a town easement. So it kind of brings that into, there's a cul-de-sac here.
Mhm.
So she has a lot of people that the entitlement of walking back here, and so she just wants to try this having people on her lane.
So just to clarify, when you said electric, it's not the kind of fence you touch and get
No,
shot.
not electric that it would open.
Yes, it's not a Jurassic Park fence.
No,
That would do the trick.
You get to go first.
I apologize, I
And all
do not have
all
the
the
exact
accessory
specs.
structures are existing,
yes.
correct?
Correct. A lot of the accessory structures were built in the late 90s, early 2000s, apart from the apartment-like structure. But that will be amended to come into compliance with the caretaker's cottage provisions in the code. Because right now, I don't believe that it meets, it's undersized, it does not meet the building code or the zoning code.
It also was built as 3 tiny home apartments, which are not legal. So I believe they're going to retro it to meet the current size. They'll have to go to the planning board for caretaker's cottage, so, and the health department. So that's still another structure on the property for your information, but they'll have to go further to legalize it.
So ours would be then to entertain the variance only, and they would have to go
For the
before
fact that
planning
it's
board.
there.
So-
Right.
These two property considered as a one piece for all purpose, technical,
So
two properties, right?
It's two separate properties that
Yeah.
she owns.
right?
The fence will be circumventing both properties.
Oh, so two, okay.
Correct. However, and I believe there's some existing fence along 376 on that property.
Correct.
But her big issue is that people are coming in from this side.
Right.
So that's really where the fence is needed.
So both property we are talking about putting fence.
One property's empty, you know, it just
But-
joins, and she owns it, and you
Right.
can put a fence up on empty property.
6 feet.
No, now,
Yes, right, yes.
she can on the
On the
side,
side is okay, but in
but
front.
the front now, that's what she requires this variance for.
So along the side, in the woods there,
She's fine.
she can do a 6-foot as of right.
And on
As
the
of
other
right.
side, the left side of the map, she's fine. It's just along the roadway. What would be considered her front yard?
Front, yeah, frontage, yeah.
So the fence, just for a more clear description of what the actual materials will be, it's going to be white vinyl V306 installed on vinyl posts surrounding the property.
So white vinyl privacy fence sounds like,
Correct.
yeah. Now, all the structures are existing there, you're not proposing any new structures?
We are not. The only thing that will be slightly new is the construction occurring for the caretaker's cottages to bring it into compliance with the
Well,
code.
that's what you just said, Barbara,
Right.
right?
It's there. They'll probably
Yes.
enlarge the size somewhat,
Yes.
but they won't need a variance for that.
Yeah, everything's within setbacks. It's all in the center of the property, pretty close to her main structure. And you really can't see anything from the roads, but the fence will ensure that.
And some interesting structures she has in the
Yes.
front yard, yeah.
Yes, and we actually wanted to clarify the nature of the structures while we were here. Barbara, I think that there were 3 sheds cited, but it's really 2 gazebos, 2 sheds, the detached garage, and the apartment structure. And yes, that's.
So I have
included that.
3 sheds,
You want
1
sheds?
garage, a gazebo, and the 3 apartment.
Right, so we actually labeled the different structures. There's a large gazebo, a small gazebo, a shed, which looks like it's labeled as a garage on the survey, but it's really a shed. You
So
can't
it's
get a
2
car in.
sheds, 2 gazebos.
Correct, 2 sheds, 2 gazebos. And one of those sheds is really a pool cabana. There's a toilet in it. And then there's the garage with the art studio above it.
When you took out the permit for the sheds to legalize them, that has to, you're gonna have to amend
Be
that,
amended?
because it's habitable space if you've got a bathroom in it.
Okay. Okay. So
Barbara,
actually,
what,
the
you said
photos
that,
to the board,
young
you
lady
wanna
said
take a
this
look
was
at what the
cited?
structures actually look like?
Oh, that's
the
the
sheds were cited.
Yeah, so what happened was,
Gazebo, solid roof.
we're trying to legalize quite a few things for Mrs. Heineman, and
Said.
we've been trying to get the 3 apartment issues settled, and then she wanted to put the fence up, and that's when we took a really close look, and we found quite a few items there that we didn't have building permits for. So to legalize them, they've opened up building permits, so that's one thing. But now, because of the number of them,
Thanks.
even though her property is quite large, we still need the variances, because regardless of the size of the property, you're still allowed 2 for this.
Correct.
Yeah, understood.
And though most of the structures were built prior to the code change in 2013, which limited it to 2 structures, we would like to see to legalize all of them.
Sure. All right, so I see we got 2 gazebos,
Yes.
2 sheds.
This is existing,
Correct.
That's gazebo.
this is a gazebo?
Yes.
Beautiful. Like an amusement park.
Mrs. Heineman has also, I think she received, she has an in-ground pool on the left side, and
Correct.
she is,
That is here.
in case, I don't know at what point they are, in case you go out and see grading, they're putting an in-ground pool on the right side as well. Just so that you don't wonder another structure, it's another in-ground
Another
pool.
pool.
Okay, so this would be that you just did? Okay, great,
It's a black and white copy.
excellent. Very hard to see this little tiny one.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were trying to get the application in
I was gonna
time.
ask you, I was gonna ask you if you get a bigger site plan, but I guess you thought of that already, right?
In the future, I can actually annotate the site plan to look like this. That is just an enlarged survey,
Good.
but it's not annotated the way this is. But for the next submission, we can do this, so it's.
One garage, got it.
And this is garage and apartment? Okay, so what is upstairs, is it?
There's an artist studio.
Artist?
Mrs. Heineman sculpts and she paints,
Oh.
so she uses that space as an artist studio.
So the apartment is, which one? This is the apartment?
Yes, that
Oh, I
is
see.
3 tiny homes that essentially forms 3 apartments. But that is proposed to be legalized, so it comes up to building code and town code.
So Barb, I apologize, I missed what you said about the second pool. Is
So-
there another pool going in on the
Yes,
right-hand side?
so the pool that you see where most of the structures are,
On the left?
right, so where you see a lot of this grading,
Okay.
that she's putting in an in-ground pool here. So she has a grading permit and an in-ground pool permit currently,
Okay.
I think it was issued.
Yeah, I think she asked me to ask about it
So it
tonight,
wasn't
so
issued.
I don't
Okay.
believe so.
So our engineer might need more information from hers, but till you got out there, I'm just letting you know, if you see disturbance here,
Okay.
that's what it is. Just not that you think something else is being built there.
And the new pool will have no structures attached to it.
Not as far
Not
as
yet.
I know, not using the variance yet, yeah.
Not as of today.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions, you guys? Okay, so why don't we schedule a site visit then for the 6th? I'll be there around 9:15, 9:20. Since everything is existing, you don't need to stake anything out. We'll set the public hearing then for the 9th as well.
I will have to arrange it with the client, but I can certainly,
Yes, thank you, right, true.
yes.
And
So-
where we are entering from?
Yeah, so we'll be on 5/6 around 9:20, I'd say.
Okay.
So yeah, someone will need to show us the way in, so to speak.
Yeah, which entrance, right? 376?
I'll be emailing the client after
Yeah,
this
right.
meeting.
And we said we have the public hearing for the 9th. Correct.
So how would that work, Pete? A telephone call, you said?
I'm gonna, when I send you your reminder,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the information in there, you know, who's meeting you down here.
Who
Who
to
is-
call
who is
so
and
we can
what-
get it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
She's gonna let me know.
Yes.
Email,
Yes.
and I'll communicate
Fantastic.
that with you guys.
Thank you.
And if
Right.
there's anything else, any more information that the board would like, would you like me to submit the materials for the fence?
Yeah, it'd be nice if you even just give us a cut, you know, a spec,
Okay.
you know, right? Specification cut
Sure.
of the fence, that would be great.
Yeah, and the fence really wouldn't affect any site distances, being that it's at the end of the cul-de-sac and along 376, where there's some leeway out here where you would see
You-
her
you know-
car, the fence is actually set back from the property line.
You know what might be helpful? If you can maybe mark out where the fence, the new fence is going to go. Maybe just put a couple stakes in the ground along where the fence is gonna be.
Okay.
Maybe put a ribbon on it or something like that.
Okay,
Or you can spray paint it on the ground if you want,
yeah.
whatever.
I believe it's going to be set back about 9 to 10 feet from the property line,
Okay.
so.
Are we gonna take a ride up to Dogwood,
What's that?
Dogwood Circle, I think it's called? Are we going up there too to look at that?
The
Woodwood
rear
Hill.
entrance or the other front entrance?
Yeah, I think we'd have to see both, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we have to see both.
Probably meander right up through the
So
property.
you can come in through 376, look at all these structures,
Right.
continue on, because the roadway will take you up to that entrance exit onto Dogwood.
Okay.
Oh, we can get through?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's see the drive.
Yes, okay, right.
We'll
So
do
it's-
that.
it's
We'll
active.
take a look at the structures first and then continue on up.
Excellent.
Take a look.
I wasn't sure whether it was all woods or.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Barbara.
All right, so
yes, I would, thank you.
I don't believe there's any further business before the board tonight.
Yeah, do the PDF so that we can put it on.
Wait till B's listening.
Yes.
Just quick, what do we do with the no-show?
Perfect, that's good for the public hearing.
Can't make a motion.
Great, thank you.
Hey, B, I think we're good, right, B? All right,
Before we go,
we're gonna make a motion to
before
adjourn.
we go,
But, hold
we
on.
have like two pieces, two parcels. Do we need, they have to put sign on both sides?
Oh, yeah, Sarah,
Yeah.
can you send someone down to the office tomorrow? I think you're going to need to put a sign on 376 and one on Dogwood.
Okay. Okay, so we'll pick another one up tomorrow?
Yes, thank you.
All right, Sharice, good,
Yeah.
good catch. All right, so let's make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we are adjourned.